Hi, I'm Sandy Conkar for childbirthwithgrace.tv, and we welcome you today to our topic that is, what is tapping anyway? And your host is Elia Blandina, and she'll be joining us in just a second. I wanted to take a couple of moments and just talk a little bit about housekeeping so you can share your comments and your questions right here live on the show with Elia. And if you scroll down on her theater here where you're watching us live, there's comment section, and there's a little button, or rather a check mark, where the screen refreshes every 90 seconds. You want to uncheck that. So when you're typing in your question or comment, if it gets a little bit long or it just decides to refresh in the middle of your typing, you will lose what you typed. So be sure that's unchecked. Also, once you've clicked into that little box there, you'll see another area where it should default to 0, not having a check mark in there. Make sure it's unchecked if you do not want your comments or your question to go out to your Facebook timeline. So those are two things there. Also today, Elia will be sharing some information and also demonstrating. And be sure that you have read her disclaimer, and we will presume that you have moving forward and that you've agreed to the disclaimers and take full responsibility. Self-responsibility is very important. No one knows your body or you better. So have fun. Share your comments. If you're over on Google, you're on YouTube, we invite you to come over to childbirthwithgrace.tv so you can join in the conversation. So I'd like to introduce you to your host, Elia Blandina. Hi, Elia.
Hi, everyone. Am I being seen?
You are seen. Yes, you are.
Okay, great. I'm going to be looking down at my notes because we're going to cover a lot of material today, and hopefully you'll walk away with a basic understanding of what is EFT anyway. I mean, what is this tapping thing? Anyway, so here, first of all, welcome to childbirthwithgrace.tv. I'm your host, Elia Blandina. Thank you, Sandy, for introducing me. And my intention, as always, is to awaken your life power to really fully tap into your personal birth journey. So let's see what other Sandy did talk about that you, by watching this, that you do agree to the disclaimer. That's located at my website, childbirthwithgrace.com. And also below, there's a little button. There's a disclaimer. And any copyrighted material that I may be using today, it's just purely for educational purposes and not being sold, or I'm not selling it or anything like that. So first of all, what is tapping? So I'm going to actually share my screen, and I hope this works. Hold on a second, because I have a few slides that's going to be helpful, I'm hoping. Hold on a second. Share.
Okay, what is EFT? EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques, and in this part of the video I'm going to show you some slides that were created by Ann Adams, and you could find the whole series of her slides at www.eft4powerpoint.com. It's right there on the bottom, and I'm going to include it in the description of the video. So what is EFT? EFT is an emotional version of acupuncture without needles. And what happens is, by stimulating these points on the meridian system, it helps restore your body's energy system. So with the tapping or rubbing, what you're doing is you're stimulating particular areas on your body where the meridians are closest to the surface, while you're focusing your mind on a negative event. By stimulating these points, what is happening, you could balance the negative reaction, often permanently, and many times in just a few minutes. So what you'll find is these points are very, very common areas that we touch when we're stressed. So once you know these points and you start observing people, you're going to find that we naturally go to touch them when we're stressed. And some of the things that we do are things like crossing our arms, wringing our hands, biting our fingers, putting our hands over our face, or scratching our chest or the top of our heads, massaging our eyes, our temples, hand on your chest, or putting your palm to your forehead, or even the sign of the cross. Those are all self-soothing touch that we naturally do without even knowing that we're doing it. So the genius of EFT is it's basically not a secret. It's touch in and of itself is comforting, and we already knew that without even being told. So what EFT does is that you pull up what bothers you and turn it off on purpose by being able to focus with intention and using a series of touches or taps. So let me tell you a little bit of the origin and history about EFT. First, William James in 1875, he established the first laboratory for experimentation about psychology at Harvard, and he actually found the mind-body connection and how our bodies respond to stressors. Then came Freud in the 1920s, and he brought the idea of the unconscious, and that the mind maintains an emotional suffering. It takes more than willpower and good intention to relieve the suffering. And then, of course, in the 1930s, Albert Einstein said it followed from the special theory of relativity that mass and energy are both but different manifestations of the same thing. And so basically, still establishing that mind-body connection. So the development of the energy therapies, first in the 1960s by George Goodhart, developed applied kinesiology, and then John Diamond in the 1970s developed behavioral kinesiology, and then Roger Callahan blended behavioral kinesiology into his practice and developed TFT, which is touch field therapy, and that was in the 1980s. In 1993, Gary Craig, an engineer that was trained in Stanford, he was a student of Roger Callahan, and he felt like he could make Roger Callahan's algorithms, because Roger Callahan actually created certain ways of tapping depending on what your problem was. Well, Gary Craig felt that you didn't have to have a recipe for each problem. He felt that you could tap on all the points and just focus on the problem, and that's how EFT was developed. So, and he came from the point of view of being a personal performance coach, and he was looking for ways to remove emotional blocks to success and make it easier for people to use the techniques. So there's vital energy that flows throughout all our body, and the energy flows can be blocked by negative experiences, but can also be reversed as well. So by tapping on these meridian points and restoring the flow, and then that will bring your mind and your body back to a state of health. And all EFT was basically developed from all these people who, with each layer of studying it and how to use it, made it better and easier to use for all of us. And especially now, it's even a easier technique to use for self-help. So then the neat thing now, moving forward, in 2009, Kareem Nadar has done some new research in neuroscience, which holds a clue of how EFT works. And what he found suggests that long-term memory is not a static or something that stays still. That each time it is recalled, a memory can be reformed. So part of the process of using EFT is that you are working on previous events that are memories, and by addressing how you feel about it in the present tense of it occurring, you can actually remold it and remold the memory of it, and therefore decrease the negative response you have to the memory and the negative triggers from that memory. So that's really, really good news. And other researchers are now beginning to suggest that if the reformation of the memory is interrupted by mechanical processes like tapping, the connection between the memory and the emotion it carries is also affected. So it's interesting how all the different components that I'm going to be teaching and using, it has it's multifaceted how it works, and there's still research, a lot of research going on. So fundamentally, what we're going to be doing with EFT is we're going to be lightly tapping or touching specific points on the body, and that will stimulate the body's energy pathways, which are called meridians, while we're focusing on an event or an emotion. And it's very simple, and then really fascinating and wonderful part of EFT is that it has been found to be useful with many issues, including post-traumatic stress and trauma and fears and phobias, depression, anger, addiction, physical issues. And basically you could use it on anything that is causing you stress. You can tap on your meridian points and you can right away manage how you're feeling at the time. So it's really a great process.
All right, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to actually show you where the points are, which is really cool. So let's see if we can do this. What I have in my hand, check it out. This is a AccuPen, which hopefully it'll turn on. And if you can hear the sound of that, it's emitting a little tiny sound. And at the tip, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over where the points are, so that way, and I'm going to put actually little stickers on my face so you can actually see where to tap. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to start off with, well, the top of the head is one of, oh no, let's do this. Let's start from the beginning. When we first start to tap, what we do is we think of what's bothering us and we try to get to a specific event. And one of the things that we're going to do today, after I have all my dots on, is we're going to tap about a sensation we may be feeling in the body. That way you can see how it works. But the first area we tap on is the karate chop point, and it's right around here. And I'm going to show you, aha, hear how that changed the tone? Well, the reason why it changes is the meridian points where it comes to the surface of the skin, there's less resistance through the meridian points, and the meridian points are a portal to your energy system. So that's why we tap on these specific areas, because we're sending a vibration with the tapping through your energy system, and at the same time we're bringing up what we're thinking of that we perceive is negative for us. Okay, so so that's the karate chop point, we call that. Ooh, yeah. All right, so that gets a little dot. I'm gonna give it a dot. Let's see, what color dot should I give it? Okay, we'll give it, all right, we'll give it this, because you know, we'll give it a dot there. Hey, there's my dot. All right, then the next part is right here, and I don't want to get like a sticker tangled in my head, but this is the top of the head. And what you want to do, see if it'll work here. Hold on. Wait. Oh, there. Did you hear it? Hear the change? Oh, it changed for just a second. I think the hit there. Cool. So as you can see, it's a specific point of less resistance, because if you heard the little change, and so you don't want to go tapping all over your head like this. You want to actually get to that little spot there. But you know, we're gonna see. Can you see? I'm gonna make sure. Okay. Ooh, yeah. Cool. All right. It's right there, right at the crown of your head. All right. Then the next part, one of my favorite is, you see, you hear it change? It's ooh. There it is. Ah, okay. That's my third eye. Okay, quick, a dot. Hold on a second. A dot for my third eye. See if I can remember where it was. It goes right there. Ooh, look at that. Awesome. Now, isn't that cool? Got a little bindi on my third eye. Okay, then there's the eyebrow point. There it is on that side. All right. Wait. There it is. Excellent. Okay. So let's see. Let's do pink. I like pink. Oh, is it gonna stick? Where'd it go? Oh, what the heck? Oh, it is. Is it there? Oh, it is there, but it's too light. Okay. Wait a minute. We're gonna have to go with the dark colors. All right. Ah, there I am. Yay. And then we'll put it on the other side. All right. Okay. Oh. There it is. And that's the eyebrow point. Okay. Corner of eye. Do you hear that? Wow. And then there it is. Perfect. So if you see the corner of eye, it's not anywhere near your temple, is not, and it's not, you know, you're not poking your eyeball out either. So it's right in that little V-shaped area. Let's see if I can. Oh, yeah. Okay. Can you see that? I want to sort of stick to the dark colors, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. Let's see. I like the dark colors. Let's do the dark colors. Okay. Shows up better on film. I wanted to do all pink, but I guess that's not going to happen. Oh, there it is. Okay. We're going to look like Marilyn Monroe with all, like, you know, our little spots everywhere. I need to see what I'm doing. Need my glasses on. All right. Hey, there we go. Nice. All right. So that's our little corner of the eye spots. Okay. Under eye. Oh, check that out. Did you hear it? See, when it's not in the right spot. Oh, And you can see it's like right in the midline of your pupil, right where you feel the top of your cheekbones. And you know, if you feel, if you touch that area with your fingers, you actually feel like a little indent in the bone. So, oh, look at that. Awesome. Put another dot on this side. Oh, I feel like I'm putting makeup on for y'all. Yeah. There's that. All right. So that was under eye, under nose. There it is, right there. And it's not exactly under your nose. It's like in that little fold area there. So, all right, here we go. I'm going to try and use a hot pink. Hot pink. Oh, hey, all right. Looks good. Then the chin point, it's not exactly on your chin. It's right above. See the change? Yay. So right in that crease. Awesome. So we're going to put it down there. Love it. All right. Sounds good. All right. Now I'm going to move back a little bit because so you can see the collarbone point, that's hard to find. You know, if you go to the collarbone area and you go down diagonally about 1.5 inches or so, you start feeling like a little area where you feel like an indent. Let's see if we can pick it up. Ah, there it is. Yay. We get to put dots there. I like it. Okay. Yep. Feel it. It's a little indent. There you go. There's one. Oh, let's see. Where to go? Collarbone. And sometimes, you know, on the fly, this is hard to find, right? So I'm going to show you a trick of how to do it. So there it is. Yay. Okay, cool. So I'm going to show you a trick of how to do it where you don't have to be like feeling like you're I don't know, trying to look weird or something, like feeling your chest all over the place. Well, unless that's what you want to do, but that's okay. So those are where they are. All right. So the collarbone point is right below really your collarbone, and it's at the level where a guy would tie their necktie. But what I like to do, you could either use a fist like this and the vibration will go out to that point because there's all this bony area. Or what I like to do is pat myself on the chest. And if you notice, my middle finger ends up tapping one of the points and my thumb is tapping the other point. All right. Then the other point, which, you know, it's hard to, you could hear. Ooh, I think you could hear. At least I could hear it. But it's right underneath your arm. And if you're a gal, it's right where your bra strap would be. And what you want to do is you just lift your arm and you tap with 4 fingers. There. And those are all the points. So let me look at myself. Ooh. Okay. I'm looking pretty dashing with all these dots. Dashing and dots. Anyways, so how do we tap? Let me turn off R2D2 over here because it's singing. All right. How do we tap? Okay. I'm going to demonstrate a very basic way of tapping. And I want you to, first of all, whenever you tap, always stay hydrated because energy doesn't flow through your body well if you're dehydrated. So if you get stuck on how you're feeling and things aren't, your emotions aren't going down, it could be due to dehydration. So I always have my clients take a deep breath after they finish tapping and take a sip of water. So I always have my water handy. Look at my water. Yummy. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to figure out what we're feeling in our body. Right now, for me, I'm having this like a little discomfort in my low back. And it's sort of like a little tightness feeling. So that's what you want to do is have something to write on and put down what you're feeling. I have tightness in my low back, where it is. And you rate that tightness from 0 to 10. 0, of course, there's no tightness there. So that's what 0 means. 10 means it's really bad. And of course, in the middle, 5 is it's moderate. So I'm going to rate mine to be like a 4. And it just feels tightness. So that's what, and I'm going to write it down. 4. 4. All right. So you start off, you do what's called a discovery statement, which is basically you just want to get really specific with what you're feeling, where it is in your body, and then you accept it. Because in tapping, it seems like we're going to be focusing in on the negative stuff all the time. But it's just like when I fell down and skinned my knee when I was 5 years old, the only way it was going to heal is if first you got the dirt off and then you applied the medicine or covered it up or whatever, however way you're going to treat it. But it's not going to heal. It's going to fester if you don't take out the negative. So that's what EFT is you're removing the negative emotion from the sensations that you're feeling. So another thing you could do is if it's a sensation that you're feeling, if for some reason you remember an emotion comes up, don't force it. But if you feel an emotion about the sensation, you could add that too. But if not, we're just keeping it really, really basic, and we're just going to deal with just what the sensation is in your body. So for me, it's tightness in my lower back. So what you want to do is you start tapping on your karate chop point. It could be either side. So by the way, I didn't put a dot on my other side, but there's a karate chop point there too. But I'm right-handed, so usually I tap with my dominant hand. Most people do. So if you're left-handed, you could do it this way. I'm right-handed. So then you say this: even though I feel this tightness in my lower back, I completely accept myself. And you repeat it 3 times. So even though I feel this tightness in my lower back, I completely accept myself. Even though I feel this tightness in my lower back, I completely accept myself. Then, after that, what we do are reminder phrases. And the reminder phrases are the rest of the points. So I always start at the top of the head and then end at the top of the head. If you watch other people, they'll do it different ways. They'll start at some people don't even use the third eye. They'll start here at the eyebrow point, but I do the top of the head first. So this tension in my lower back, and that's what you want to repeat. This, whatever it is you're feeling and where it is. Okay, this tension in my lower back, top of the head, third eye for me, because I love that point. This tension in my lower back, eyebrow point. Now here you can do both at the same time. You could do one, you could cross over, doesn't matter. I like doing, if both my hands are free, I like doing both. This tension in my lower back. Then same goes for the corner of the eye. You could do one, cross over, or both at the same time. This tension in my lower back. And notice when I'm doing these smaller points, you just need 2 fingers. When you're doing the top of the head, you just stay in the center, and you could use 2, however many fingers, 2 fingers, 3 fingers, but just don't go around in circles. All right, so this tension in my lower back, this tension in my lower back, and then under the eye, same way, this tension in my lower back, the nose, this tension in my lower back, chin point, this tension in my lower back, and under the here, the collarbone point, this tension in my lower back. And under your arm, this tension in my lower back. All right, so now that we did that, we take a deep breath. And the really cool about taking a deep breath, that actually helps slow down your sympathetic nervous system. So it sort of puts the brakes on your emotions and helps you focus more. So take a deep breath. You have some water. And then you sort of scan your body and see, is the tension still there in the lower back? Did it move? Did it change quality? And if it's there, so you first say, okay, we started our tension in my lower back. I said it was a 4. For me, it seems to, I don't feel it in my lower back anymore. It seems to feel like right here in my, what would I call this? Right shoulder. Yeah. All right. So in my right shoulder, it feels like a pinching sensation. So I'm going to write that one down. Pinch. Right shoulder. And for me, it's more like a 4 again. So we're going to do another round. And we start off with the karate chop point. Even though I have this pinching in my right shoulder, I deeply and completely accept myself. And then you repeat it after me. Even though I have this pinching feeling in my right shoulder, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this pinching in my right shoulder, I deeply and completely accept myself. Super. On top of your head, this pinching in my right shoulder. Third eye, this pinching in my right shoulder. Eyebrow point, this pinching in my right shoulder. Corner of eye, this pinching in my right shoulder. Under eye, this pinching in my right shoulder. Under nose, this pinching in my right shoulder. Chin point, this pinching in my right shoulder. Collarbone, this pinching in my right shoulder. Underarm, this pinching in my right shoulder. And back at the top of the head, this pinching in my right shoulder. Okay, take a deep breath. Have a sip of water. All right, so now you would scan yourself again and see what you may be feeling and see if it moved from a different spot, if it's gotten worse, if it's getting better. The intention is that it's going to get better. And what you want to do is to practice. You could do that just to get a feel for how tapping feels like. And when we're doing it together as a group like this, it's what's pretty neat. I'm talking about my stuff, but you're putting in your stuff in the blanks, which is, even though I feel this blank in my blank, I deeply and completely accept myself. And then this blank, this blank, this blank. Even though you're hearing my words, you're actually borrowing benefits when we do it together, when you still fill in your words. So it's the most important part is that you test afterwards to see if there's been a difference, if that measurement from 0 to 10, if it's gone down. The ideal is for it to go all the way to 0. And that's basically how tapping works. Let's see. Ah, okay, great. My notes. So now, do you have to memorize how to say all this all the time? No. And that's the neat thing about tapping is in the moment. Let's say you're super upset and all you're doing is crying because you're upset and you want to sort of get a handle on it, or you're really angry and all you could feel steam coming out of your ears and you just want to get a handle on it because you don't want to say the wrong thing or whatever. You just want to get a handle on how you're feeling. Well, you're already tuned in. What the words do is tune you in to the problem. But when you're completely tuned in and you are feeling the really high emotion, you could just tap. You don't have to say the words. You could just tap on all the points, just like I'm talking to you now without even saying anything. You could just tap. You don't have to say one word at all. You just tap until, and you keep going around in circles until you feel that your mind is more calm. And if you were crying, you stop crying. Now, I'm not saying that just by doing that, the problem is completely gone. But you've toned down your sympathetic nervous system and you've grounded yourself. And that's basically it. I mean, because like when you're stressed out, really stressed out, three things are happening. Your body's making the choice of doing three things. And the first thing is either you're going to fight. Okay. And it's all based on your body's perception of whether you're safe. So you're either going to fight with someone, get into an argument, or you're going to run away, or you're going to freeze. And because for the freezing part is you're in a situation you can't run away. I mean, you're at work. You can't like all of a sudden just leave work. You have to deal with your emotions. But meanwhile, you're really pissed off at someone because they did this at this time. And oh my gosh, that reminded me of when. And so you want to tap that out so that you can then have more control of what you say back to them, because you know how that works at work if you say the wrong thing. Anyways, so that is what tapping's all about. That's basically the basics. And here I'm going to take off my glass. Everything's fuzzy now, but I'm taking off my glasses and you can see all the different spots on your face where you should tap. Yay. All right. And I think that's the end of the show. Is there anyone with any questions out there?
No, we're good, Elia.
All right. Awesome. So I really hope you got a lot out of my polka dots. And I'm going to, I'm really, I'm always inspired by music and by visual images, as you could see from my website and, the childbirthwithgrace.tv. So this episode brought to you from inspiration by this song. You ready? This is fun. So until next time, keep tapping. And let the loving tree of your celestial family awaken your life power. Stay present. Listen to music. Enjoy life. And be well. Yay! See you next time.